things being equal and fair and right and justice.
And the same thing going forward.
A spinster of the family, as any unmarried woman was called.
Lovely.
It's women's voices that tend to be lost. Women's names are lost.
And we're going to stop and we're going to breathe in.
So they were regarded as terrorists, beyond the pale. They were appalling. You know, this was not women. They were witches, harridans, anything that they could think of to call them. Women weren't allowed degrees. Their intention was not to hurt people. The only constitutional path left to them was to petition the king directly, get their cause in front of the king. Everything else had failed.
I mean, for you, what did you want from the whole process? I mean, what was the germ of your idea?
Well, I think I wanted to kind of do my best for the suffragettes who, you know, went through a hell of a lot to give women the right to vote. So I wanted, you know, the essence of what they did to come through in the performance part of it. But I also wanted to educate people, and, you know, I felt very uneducated about the whole subject before I started researching it. And I think that was what spurred me on to create this show and to incorporate all the heritage program as well. I think it's really important that people realise that there was so much more to what they did than just marching. You know, they had all the hunger striking and force feeding and the way they were treated. You know, it's only 100 years ago, but it just seems unbelievable. So I really want people to go out of here after the show thinking, oh, I learned something there, I didn't know that. You know, just to spark their minds a little bit about the whole subject.
I mean, it's quite interesting. When I was coming down this morning, I was thinking, isn't it interesting to have such chaos and such energy at this point, which is literally the week that 100 years ago, the first woman in this country ever walked into a polling booth and put a mark. I mean, it seems astounding to me. So we're going to play with that, and we're going to find out a bit about who are the people in your family who might have actually voted, who might have been the first person to vote in your family, and when would that have been?
My mother was born in 1903.
You got a pen?
Maybe about there, yeah. What do you know about your mothers and voting? So eligible to vote at in 1943, 53, 63, 64. Yeah.
18, 22, 23.
Good Lord.
1923 as well as 20.
Yeah, and 24.
Good Lord. That's it. That's a bit of work.
There's a lot of
Right. Who do you know in your family? What do you know about the women in your family? So the project involves professional dancers, people from the community who have probably never danced before, quite a number of them, who take part in the performance with the professional dancers. And also, at each venue, a community singing group and a community dance group, generally, as far as possible, from the older communities, not just young people who can fling themselves around. At the core is a professional dance group, 5 dancers, 2 guys and 3 women. And Christine, who's the director.
Do you feel determined? Do you feel confident?
An amazing choreographer who has established her own dance company in the Northeast. We've worked together and devised this project. She always involves communities in any of the work that she does. and has them as an integral part of a dance performance.
What's been the biggest impact on you?
The biggest impact? Well, I mean, to me, the biggest impact on me is just all the people of the community that we've managed to access and engage, because I get a bit overwhelmed when there's just so many people involved and on stage, and you know, it kind of makes me want to cry as well, because it's just so inspiring.
The way we work with our discrete groups, you know, I mean, I think we really try and understand what they care about, what they do best, how to move them on a little bit. I mean, I know that's my experience with the choir, and I'm sure you feel like that with the dance.
Sandra's chosen the words, probably on a slightly subliminal level, you know, in their music, and I've chosen a symbol of movement in a subliminal, like it's just, oh, that feels like right. Where do these things come from? That's interesting, and I like that, because we don't have ownership of any of this. We're a part of a process.
I loved it because I'd never done anything like it ever in my life before. I'd never danced other than in my kitchen or living room.
Your body has its own dance memories. You're bringing to it a huge heritage, which some of it is on a conscious level, some on a subconscious level, some on a spiritual level. It's many different levels all working in the here and now. So it's beautifully simple in a way, because as you move, you tell a story. Just dance itself is a moving story. And even if it's an abstract story, that's good, because that can cover boundaries that people can all identify with.
I think Virginia is amazing at, she's developed this group of people who are not afraid to experiment and move.
We just have fun, and that's what it's about, and nobody's trying to compete with anybody or try and show off or anything. You're just in your own zone, and then you come away with it feeling absolutely fantastic because you've had that little bit jig and dance.
And then we get to perform publicly, which is facing challenges.
One day last week I woke up in a terror thinking, oh, you know, Newcastle and on a stage. But then I actually talked to people about it yesterday, and they were all very supportive and said, we're all here for fun and to support each other.
But with our dance group, it doesn't matter, because it sort of joins into each other. We pick up each other's mistakes, if you like, and camouflage it a bit.
Got no reputation to lose. What have we got to lose? You know, you're not so self-conscious. You actually don't care what people think. We enjoy it, end of.
I think partly it's a bit of a sense of, what the hell, let's do it. If we don't do it now, we never will.
So we're not looking for the perfect. We're more looking for the expressive joy of the two art forms together.
And we also do things with our bodies, like we said, that perhaps we didn't realise we could do, or still do, without falling over. Dance, as we all know at the moment, is very much in the press because of the ability to help all sorts of people, not just elderly people, but, you know, disabled, people with learning difficulties, the whole spectrum.
I'm young again in my mind, and it doesn't matter. I might look older on the outside, but I'm still young at heart.
And so this is just a side of myself that I feel is wonderful to explore, because I think it was always there, but I it's just come to the fore now, and it's wonderful to have this opportunity. And it's also been a wonderful way to connect with people.
Well, the thing that dance does and singing is it's the way you relate to each other. And it's a lovely way of relating, because you sense the person around you, you get the feeling of what's coming from them. There's an empathy in the experience.
In a little tiny way, we're measuring up a little bit to our own gremlins that try to stop us doing things.
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree with that. There was a wonderful moment when I really felt, yes, this has become really organic. The dancers are responding to the music. The singers are singing the music, well, and the way they know it, but also they're watching the dancers.
Yeah. And having them live is, it's more immersive. They're around us, but they can also react to what we're doing, and they react back.
So this project has opened up all kinds of doors and just connections with history and the present and here and now. It's wonderful.
And I think for ladies as well who are either single or widowed or divorced, to have this outlet. And I think any form of creativity puts you in contact with your own emotions.
I think I found my tribe, and which is a wonderful place to be anywhere in the world.
Children, right from when they're babies, they don't separate these things. They don't
move when they sing.
Exactly, and they sing when they move, and they move to music, and they sing to anybody. So yes,
it's almost like we have to go through so much to come back
to that
point.
Proper song and dance.
Proper song and dance. Tonight is?
Yes, the premiere of Deeds Not Words. So we're really excited. It's taken, we've only had 4 weeks to create the show, so it has been very challenging and it's been very pressurized. But everything has managed to come together. I think it's going to be an overall great experience all round for audience members who are coming. There's also going to be a post-show talk, which I'm very excited about. I always love to hear what they think and, question it, and that will inform then how we go on to tour it, because this is just the start for me. There'll be changes, there'll be developments in the choreography and the way we're staging it, and, it'll change kind of organically as we go through the process, and that's why we're doing the exploration workshops, because the stories we get, will feed in to how it develops and how it changes across the whole tour.
I think I really enjoyed the whole process. I think I was so inspired by so many things that when you came in the first week to talk about, in the wider context of looking into the suffragettes and suffragists and the cultural context, but also sparking the questions that I'd never really thought about when you asked about, find out who were the first women to vote in your family. It was really wow, it's not just out there, it's really inside your own house. In your home.
Absolutely, yeah.
And where your home comes from and where your home goes, I think.
This is actually asking us to know the emotions and bring our emotions
It's a
into
bit like
life.
physical theatre, and quite Yannick has had to put himself in terrible places. He plays the part of the abuser, the sexual abuser, and the nasty husband, and that's so not his character.
There's the piece that's so much about positivity and strength of women, and then actually in my character I'm objectifying and thinking these horrible thoughts in order to be able to emote into the right where the chin drops and the eyes drop.
That intensity.
Yeah.
And in some ways you're performing against type of what's expected of men.
Yeah.
So it's part of the same thing.
Yeah.
And on that front, the way abuse and the domestic scene, I mean, you're a smiley guy.
Yeah.
And you're playing that, which has me terrified.
But I think I do go home and kind of, I turn the shower on and let it drop out
good
at the
idea,
weekend.
yes, yeah.
But until then, I think you have to go there, you have to be inside.
You have to put yourself so much in that place that it's sometimes hard to come out of it, because it's been a hard process, you know, ourselves in the studio in constant contact, and when you're in that place it's really, really difficult to communicate at a normal level afterwards, you know. So they've been on a massive journey.
It's been a very intense experience in a good way, so to learn more about the suffragette movement and what that meant and what that means now for us as women.
But I think it's really important that we don't lose touch with our living memory, where we came to, and it's not really that far to where it is.
No.
And there's still a lot going on, but I think it's really important not to forget, not just to read about it, but to see it and to feel it and to physicalize these actions.
We have explored the different relationships that the women had with each other, that they had with their husbands, that they had with other men in society, which has all come into the choreography.
The team are great. Everybody's fabulous. Everybody gets on with everybody else, you know, and they work together and they help each other.
Being on stage with the professionals, they're a really good company to dance with. These are some of the dancers that we performed with before in the last piece that we were part of. And basically Christine doesn't use us as just props on stage. She's really good with her community cast, so she makes us part of the dance. And we actually get to dance and interact with the professionals on stage, so it's really exciting.
It isn't just, people aren't just going to walk into the auditorium and sit down and watch. I mean, there's actually people going to be out there having a protest.
Yes,
and, as I
it's
say,
more of an experience, isn't it?
Yes.
Like, for everyone who's coming tonight, it's going to be an experience from the word go. When they approach the building, they're going to be hit by this protest of women and men, and, you know, not only shouting votes for women, but shouting, you know, we paid in, you pay out, and you know, equal pay now. You know, there's a lot of issues today that we want to bring in there. We also have the students from Newcastle High School for Girls performing a curtain raiser in the foyer, so it's a bit of site-specific curtain raiser. So yeah, the audience are going to be already kind of experiencing it before they walk in.
And they're all going to get a little suffragette ribbon. You know,
thanks to Dance for Fun. I know.
People sat around making
making all the ribbons. So it's been a real community pulling together experience, the whole thing.
Tonight has these community dancers, the professional dancers, Dance for Fun, Workers Folk, and then every other site will have different
community cast, different choirs, different dance groups over 50. So
and different schools.
Yeah, and different schools. So it's like at the end of this project, we'll have met so many new people.
It'll probably head towards 1,000.
Yeah,
I
I'd
think,
say
of people
so.
involved, which is extraordinary.
It's extraordinary.